Hey, thank y'all for tuning in to Lafontaine Classic Car YouTube. Favorite truck of the season. This is a 68 GMC 1500. This is a trick build. It was actually done by RideTech on the floor at Barret. It's a one-off. Come take a closer look. We got a catalog of all the top shelf goodies. I love this truck for so many reasons. In my short time behind the wheel, does everything it's supposed to do really quite well. You notice the blinker indicator just turned off on its own. Our power steering feels great. Our acceleration with this electronic fuel injection is a dream. It really is. This truck has everything you could want, everything you would want to shell out and do yourself, or at least from a personal standpoint. This thing's got it going on. Like, got the right choice of gauges, the right choice of stereo, wheel, material, colors. This thing's the whole package, and we'll show you how it gets down the road here. So, linear power. Not gonna break any land speed records, but this thing's rated around about 400 horsepower, which is plenty for a light little truck like this. Everything appears to be working just as it should. Coolant temp looks good. Oil pressure looks great. My clock in the middle is even telling the time. This thing's smooth. So I haven't mentioned to you yet, this is riding on RideTech's full suspension kit. So control arms, coilovers, all the jazz. So this thing actually really handles like a much newer vehicle. On top of that, we have a Currie 9-inch out back. We're only making about 400 horsepower. This 9-inch could handle probably 2,000. This truck might be overbuilt, but I like that because you're not going to have to worry about something failing on you. All the boxes have been checked, the bases have been covered. You turn the key, plug in your phone, let the air blow cold. It's as simple as that, and I think you look really good doing it. Hucking a little turn here. We got big oversized sway bars front and rear, so body roll is very minimal. It's a tight truck. A few differences between your Chevy and your GMC of this era. First and foremost, they only built about a third of the GMCs they did for Chevy, so this makes this thing quite rare. You know, so we got the quad headlights up front versus Chevy's 2, and we have the GMC badging on the brow of the hood versus in the grille. One thing cool about the 67s and 68s, they have the slant nose up here instead of a hard edge that the 69, 70, 71, and 2s got. So another reason why this truck is very desired. Check this out. So I got a lot to talk about. I think we ought to go from left to right, and we'll start back up here with our Ring Brothers billet hood hinges. That is just jewelry. Those things are gorgeous. They work great. This hood is firm and closes and opens really nice. So we have really nice wiring through here, loomed up properly. And they actually had a nice piece machined showing the build. It was live at Barrett Jackson back in 2017. They took a stock little GMC truck like this and had a crew of guys working on this thing for 48 hours around the clock, and they auctioned it off. So you can find out some good information about this if you just surf the web. But gorgeous truck, a lot of really cool people came together, and there's a lot of really cool parts. Now looking at our 350, you notice we've got a bunch of bling. We have a FiTech fuel injection setup underneath that beautiful air cleaner. Got gorgeous polished out valve covers. We have an Edelbrock aluminum intake manifold, and we also have aluminum heads. Now, this looks a little bit different than the factory 6-rib setup that would have came on the front end of this. This is Holley's billet front drive kit. So it converts everything to a more modern serpentine system. You see our billet tensioner down there, our nice AC compressor, and everywhere, guys. ARP hardware, all the fancy components. This was no corners cut. They're trying to show out at the big show. We got a C&R radiator with electric fans on it. This is top shelf stuff. And notice we don't see any hose clamps. So these little heat shrinks are pretty cool. They're high tech. And give this a very clean look, just like heat shrink. You close that, slip that on, heat them up, and they're good to go. And then you notice those on the rest of our heater hoses all into the firewall. Now, making our way over to this side of the firewall, you see we have BAER's dual master. That's a big piece of billet, separate fills for either reservoir, and you see we have their proportioning valve just beneath it. Very slick. There's a couple other pieces of billet. All the cables are Lokar, the pedals are Lokar. We'll get to some of that in just a moment. Gorgeous. See, we got beautiful bright work, our GMC 1500 custom badge. And check out the forge lines on here. Gorgeous wheel and tire combination. It's a G-Force by BF Goodrich. And we have drilled and slotted rotors with BAER 6-piston calipers. When it comes to off-the-shelf C10 parts, this is the top-of-the-line stuff. I run the same combination on my personal C10. Coming down the side of the truck, very sporty looking mirror, billet door handles, and this is actually RideTech's logo, cut it out of a piece of billet to replace the factory fill neck, because that has been moved to the bed with a beautiful fuel cell. Out back you see the same Forgeline wheel with a little bit more dish, and we also got the BAER brake. This is a 4-piston in the rear. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Forgeline, a set of wheels like this goes for about $8,000. So no corners cut, all the big bling. You come out back, it looks totally stock. We actually got some LED lights in here. Factory bumper sits in there very nice. I like the gaps, the fit. Almost looks like it might be pulled in just a hair. No limit fuel cell up underneath there. And we got the same thing going on over on this side. Gorgeous paint, wonderful fitment. All the trim and bright work is 10 out of 10. So you got our big back glass, and the top of this cab is finished in white. If you look back in some of the pictures, they actually wrapped the top half of this truck all in black. Just due to personal taste, we peeled it all off of there, kind of give it more of a factory era correct look. Billet hinges over here looking good, working great. Gorgeous door cards. And we're going to dive into this interior a little bit further. Check out what comes with. So they had a book made. And here's this thing crossing the block. Here's some really high-end studio shots of this thing. And there's more throughout, but really, really cool truck. You get a look at the black vinyl that was on there too. All right, now to cover the rest of the goodies over here, I think we do the same thing. We'll start left and we'll finish over on the right-hand side. Classic instruments, did the gauges in here. I love the inlays. I think they're very sexy, just the perfect, modern and classic look, and good color combo. Actually complements the wheels and some other accents on here. A gorgeous steering wheel, polished out quite lovely with the speed holes, and it is leather wrapped. Now this is an ididt column. If you haven't heard of them, it's the top of the line factory replacement tilt column. So a bunch of high-end, nicely machined internals so that things never gonna wear out or slop around, and helps make this truck a one-size-fits-all. Now on the topic of one-size-fits-all while we're here, I mentioned the fuel tank that normally sits right behind this seat was moved under the bed. So we actually gain about 4 inches with this seat. So if you're taller and thought you might struggle fitting into an old C10, this could be the truck for you. And this seat is adjustable if you need to move it up closer, no sweat. Now, down low here, you see we got the Lokar billet pedals. I mean, this thing's just got little subtle candy all over the place. And we look up, we got some controls for our Kicker base, and we have their head unit in here, which is very trick. You see they made a custom panel, paint matched it all. You still retain the factory ashtray, and it's got Bluetooth, all the sounds. Have our couple of extra speakers in the kick panel. We got billet AC vents, and then down there you could tuck this in the glove box or hide it away. But that is your EFI. It's kind of your live data report on it, letting you know your air to fuel ratio, how everything's working and spitting. Now, I guess we can get into it now, but this is probably the nicest sounding C10 I've ever heard. I'm sure as much as you guys all want to hear the song, video probably can't do it justice, but this one actually has a speaker box under the seat, which you really never know is there. It does crazy things for the sound in this truck. It also has Dynamat on the back of the cab here, up the firewall, and all throughout the floor. So the road noise is really at a low, but also what it can do for the acoustics in here is pretty impressive for an old tin box like this is. Visors, mirror, top side of the cab look good. And inside of the glove box, pretty factory looking. You notice it's really shallow. This is due to the vintage air kit. So you lose a couple inches, but there's still some decent storage in here. Notice you got your factory little cup holders, but very clean. Nice dash pad. The billet AC vents, they're just over the top. That was the idea. They had, I think, close to 30 sponsors, all these parts vendors coming together to showcase what they could do and try to fetch a whole lot of money at Barret. So, cool story, beautiful end result. Really cool truck. If you've been looking for something like it, I wouldn't hesitate to pull the trigger. All of the best goodies, great story, one of a kind. You don't see these GMCs ever, especially decked out like this. To recreate, I think you'd be investing well over 6 figures. So we got a bargain for you today at just $90,000. The number to dial is 248-714-2110. And just down below at the description of this video, I'll put a link to our full website listing. That has 100+ pictures. We put them up in the air. You can see all the blinged out running gear this has, as well as our description, which will break down all the parts if you're interested in those details as well. Feel free to call again at any time. It's 248-714-2110. Ring, ring, we'd be happy to talk. See you guys in the next video.